I think we are ready to go. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to GP1 League hosted by the Sleepy Bing Bong 07. This is race 2 at Sakkari GP, which is located in Greece. The qualifying has already been finished, with Josh being on pole, Rob second, Lucas third, and Monkey on fourth. Attendance is unfortunately quite low, but that doesn't stop us from racing because this is what these drivers are born to do, to race. They cannot help it. So as you can see, it's a front row lockout for Quick Drive, also known as Griffin Peterson Racing. Then Lucas, the team owner of Lucas Tech Racing, is on third place, and Mikey, team owner of 7th Century Racing, is on fourth. His teammate Leon is missing. We're not sure where he is, but hopefully he's having a good time. There will be 18 laps and one pit window. The pit lane is quite long, but given the rainy conditions, I don't think that it will matter much, because this track is so slippery right now, and I expect the gaps to be big. Zeb has just joined the game, hopefully he can race, but apart from that I think we're all kind of ready to go. The championship standings as of race 1 are actually a 1-2 for the team on the front row, having Josh won the first race and Rob coming second in the first race as well. So do you think you can replicate that? I think they can, because they're looking really solid. As you can the time is gone. Let me try get the qualifying results in the screen. So race control says that we'll start in 3 minutes roughly. Now that we have Zembo on the grid as well, making a grid of 6 drivers, which is good. He will be representing Team High Performance Automotive, created by Stradale. Terminator has also joined, which is good. Word has it that the newbie one is also coming. Oversteer seems to be okay, that's the newbie one. So right now we have some drunk drivers as far as I can see, but the tally will go up to 7, which is quite decent. I think the stream is not very consistent as far as I can see, so I will try sort that out. So we had a false start here, as you may have seen, but everyone is getting back to their positions, and hopefully we'll get going soon. Okay, no. Sorry for that. There we go. So off we go. Off we go already. And Josh has a great start, but so has Zitan. Quite laggy they are. But through turn 1, the Peter Griffinson drivers are heading away, with Lucas trying to keep up. Let me track the others. Right. I am not sure how much practice Terminator and the newbie one have had. Same with Stradaya, but they seem to be suffering at the back already. As they come through the second sector, Rob is actually taking the lead from Josh, and the three of them are separating from the rest of the field. Alright, there we go. Coming into the final chicane, Rob seems to be leading in the second lap of the race. Josh probably closing in second and Lucas in third. Then there is a fight for fourth place, but Zembo goes off and has to go around the CC wall, coming into fifth place now, following Monkey. The newbie one is fending off Terminator for penultimate place. Not sure if penultimate is the right word for that. However, the gap is already big between those two and the rest of the field. She's trying to find a way around Rob, but with a wet track like this, there is only one correct line, so it's very hard to overtake. Not a bad idea. As we're approaching the end of the second lap, it seems that Quick Drive, aka Peter Griffinson Racing, are separating themselves from the rest of the field, as Lucas seems to struggle to keep up with them. However, this looks good for podium on the top three, and this is what actually Lucas needs, because fighting for third in the standings is his target, I presume. However, the fight for the lead in the constructors' driver standings is going to be a big fight between these two, and I'm sure both of them really want to lead going into the third race of the season. Which was really strong in the qualifying session, as you can see. However, Rob seems to have the better of him. now in the race. The newbie is starting to drop Terminator from his rear by the looks of things. However, a mistake there allows Terminator to go through and take 6th place. Zenvo is trying to recover back into the podium, but it's gonna be a tough ask, although he has already made a place after overtaking Monkey, who seems to be going all of shape there, coming out of that turn. Tricky track this one, with many sharp turns and connective sections. And especially with these rainy thunderstorm conditions, I assume it's going to be very, very much tougher than that. Monkey goes wide there, having no grip at all. Hits the wall and spends some time trying to recover. It seems that his tires are gone completely, has no grip whatsoever. Good little chicane there though. Hopefully he can stay up to speed and try fight for some good top 5. In the front of the race, Josh is trying his best to keep up with Zitenius. However, this fella right here has some good pace by the looks of things. These cars are very unique. As you can see from these drivers, you have to turn very early and very accurately because the snapback is really strong and that can be very, very costly for your line. As you can see there, he turned a bit too early and nothing you can do to recover it. These cars are tough to drive. However, he's still in the lead marginally. And now Josh is trying to make the move to finally take the lead of this race. Into the last chicane. Rob seems to have held off. Or not, Josh goes round the outside and takes the lead of this race, going into the 5th lap. The pit window is now opened and we might see people coming into the pits already. Zenvo is in for his first and final pits of the race, I'd imagine. Quite a long drive until his box. The pit procedure is that they have to go in their team's box, press the button, and wait until it goes green. So you can see the league owner is inspecting, make sure that the pits are carried out accurately. And Zenvo returns the race in 7th place, ahead of Terminator, who also pits. It's possible that Terminator will come out behind the leaders. No, he's fine. Terminator will rejoin the race in last place. He has a lot of work to do if he is to score some good points here. Around the final corner comes Rob, who has managed to extend his gap to Josh again. However, it is interesting to note that Lucas is actually catching up to them. It could be a 3-way fight for the lead. Rob has put a banger of lap there. It seems Josh is suffering a bit to keep up. Elsewhere, Zenvo and the newbie one are having a good fight for 6th place, although this might be an on-track position. However, in net place, Zenvo goes really wide. However, after newbie pits, I'm sure that Zenvo will be ahead. Although, despite that, newbie is allowed to fight Zenvo, and he is successfully doing that for the time being. Newbie seems to be coping well with the conditions, given the amount of practice he has put in. Back into the fight for the lead, Josh has caught up to Rob a bit. Must have made a mistake. Yes. Good. And now they are both dropping Lucas again. However, he's not far off. He's still in the game. successfully gone out of the last chicane. The gap is now less than a half a second between Rob and Josh, and about 4 behind is Lucas from the leader. The Griffin-Peterson drivers seem to be catching up to Terminator, however they have not yet boxed, so the lap might take a while longer to be achieved on him. Monkey is into the pits, I think. No, never mind, he wasn't. Neither is Newbie, so with 2 laps to go, more than half of the grid is yet to pit. Only 1 pit remained in this race. A short race actually, 18 laps, but certainly far from an easy one. Terminator goes really wide there, allowing the leaders to go through. And Josh is in the pits. And this is important moment for Rob. He has to put a banger of a lap here if he is to stay ahead of the race. Lucas goes through. He must have made a mistake. He's now 10 seconds behind the leader. And Josh is into his box. Barely in, but 2 wheels is all he needs to be in the box. Terminator is on foot. He seems to have retired. Or he respawned his car? I'm not sure. Either way, Josh is coming out of pits now, ahead of Monkey, who also pits. Zenvo has already pitted, so he must have made a mistake in the last turn there. Oh, he's so out of shape there coming onto the final straight. Not sure what's wrong with him, if he has a mechanical issue or something. Either way, Monkey's into his pits, and in theory he should come out ahead of the newbie one. And he had a good gap before the pit window, and indeed he does. Monkey comes out comfortably in 5th place. Zenvo seems to have crashed here. What is going on with Zenvo? Zenvo has lost a wheel. He's out of the race. Oh, that is a shocking result for Zenvo, who was trying to recover to the podium places. I'm sure he'll be devastated after this result. He missed race 1 and now a DNF. That will not help his championship campaign, I'm sure. It's only Lucas yet to pit now, I believe. Rob has just made his pit stop and he will come out ahead of Josh. He manages to stay ahead of him, preventing the undercut by Josh. However, they're still very, very close to each other. So this will be a great fight for the lead all the way to the finish, I think. Lucas needs to pit this lap to avoid any penalties, which I'm sure he doesn't want. But looking at the gap, I believe he'll come behind them, but who knows? He has been lapping quite solidly in the past handful of laps, so I'm pretty surprised if he rejoins in the good fight for the lead. Terminator is also out of the race, unfortunately. After not having a good time with his car, he couldn't cope with the conditions. One is almost being lapped by the 2 leaders, who are rapidly approaching him. And Lucas is in. Lucas is in for his one and only pit stop. Let's see how long it will take him. Will he rejoin ahead of the leaders? The answer is probably no. Rob is coming on the finish line now, and that will be him taking the race lead again back from Lucas after the pit window. Lucas is taking quite some time in the pit box. It's a big time loss there. He seems to be out of the fight for the race now. However, Josh very much is. He's staying close to the leader, closely following him in the wet conditions. But the question is, will he be able to overtake him? So there are 5 drivers left in the race, after Zenova and Terminator abandoning. Monkey crossing the finish line now, almost a minute behind the leaders. However, he is comfortably ahead of the newbie one, who is about to be lapped by Rob and Josh. Get on board with Josh, see how he's coping with the dirty air and the water spray from Rob. Very clean through the last chicane. He did gain on Rob a bit by the looks of things. The gap is again less than a second, which means that for Josh, Rob will be right in front of him, perhaps disrupting his lines. Round the hairpin and into the left-right section. Very, very tricky section this one is. As Rob overtakes and laps the newbie one, and so will Josh in a moment. There he goes. Ooh, quite wide Josh goes there. However, manages to keep his line correct and upright. With 7 laps to go, 7.5, I think this will be a great battle that has been going on from the start of the race, potentially until the end of it. These two seem to be the only ones fighting for the title already, and they're side by side. Not on track, but on potential. There are 2 top drivers, and will fight this Drivers' Championship out. I am sure Rob will be happy whatever the result, given that the driver right behind him and his only rival is his teammate. So as the team owner, he should be happy about that. Although Josh makes a little mistake there and has to readjust his line, losing a few tenths of a second. But after a good hairpin there, he manages to get back in on terms. Lucas is having a lonely race now, after he dropped off from the front too, and the next car being almost a lap down. Oh, a little mistake there, hitting the CC will costing him a bit more time, but I'm sure he's now not fully committed into this. He's just cruising to finish on the podium, which is great points for him in his campaign. I am not sure if the newbie one is still racing, because he's not on the spectator screen. But where is the newbie one? There he is. Let's see where he's going. The newbie one is in the pit. He seems to have also retired. And that is a shocking result as well. I really expected a lot from him. He's doing very well recently. But for some reason, I'm not sure if it's driver error, a mechanical or crash, his car seems intact. He's out of the race either way. And that leaves the top 3 and Monkey having a lonely race. She is much closer to Rob here. He could potentially make the move on this lap. Rob has been defending brilliantly so far in the first 13 laps. Let's see if he can continue doing that. Let me try improve the lag a bit. I have an idea, a cunning idea. As Josh tries to take the inside, that was a good move. It didn't stick, however, but I believe that we'll have many more like that from now on, as Josh is closer to the race leader. Josh side by side now with Rob. Will he be able to make his move stick? That's the big question. Definitely closer than ever before now. Rob must be feeling the pressure, and trust me, that pressure is quite big right now. Can cost you the whole race. Around the double left-hander we go, into the last chicanes. Rob is still holding on the lead, but by a small margin. Beautiful, beautiful chicane there by both of them. We're coming into the finish straight, almost side by side. The gap is now almost a tenth, just over a tenth, as they're approaching the first turn of the 15th lap. They will soon lap Monkey as well, who is in for a treat after he'll be able to sit back and enjoy this battle from the back. Round the right hairpin, round the second right hairpin, and they're still almost side by side. This is a great battle that will potentially continue throughout the whole season, so stay tuned for that. Monkey is rapidly approaching the leaders with his inferior pace, and Rob is about to lap him. Will he allow the leaders to come through? He doesn't need to, according to the regulations, but it would be nice to allow this battle to continue. Remind that the cars are custom built on a shared template, so they're not exactly identical, although with the same properties. Oh, mistake there for Monkey, thankfully not interacting with the leaders match. And now he's on the back seat and he can grab his popcorn and enjoy this fight, because it's going to be good. 2.5 laps to go, and Josh is still in the lead, but only half a second ahead of Josh, his main championship rival. Oh, a big mistake there by Rob, and that gives the lead to Josh. Both of them have been mistakenless all race, and now that is a huge moment for the outcome. Rob is now again behind Monkey, and Josh has a second or two here that he can play with the remaining 2 laps of the race. The pressure is high for both drivers, as the race is here up for grabs, and now Josh is in the pole position to take that. Josh is a known driver to have great composure in high pressure moments, so don't be surprised if he finishes this all the way with a great pace. However, Rob is not the driver to discount. He is able to put 2-3 laps here that are pole position worthy. Although he's very out of shape there, and I think that's over for his chances of the race. The gap is now like 3 seconds, and it's pretty much unrecoverable considering the caliber of Josh 200. Monkey is managing to keep up with Rob as a result of his crashes. However, it is not over yet by any means. One crash, one flip, there go 5 seconds to your opponent. Nailing that CC wall, same with that one. Now Rob is fully committed with an all or nothing mindset to try gather the lead back from Josh and take the victory. However, it's not looking good for him as the gap is not closing whatsoever, with Josh powering on into the final lap, taking the white flag on his hand to the second race win in a row. 2 out of 2 is what Josh wants here. Remind that the point system is the normal Formula 1 system, 25, 18, 15 and onwards. Approaching the final few corners of this race, Josh is maintaining his lead of 3 seconds over Rob. And that seems to be it for this race. Josh will be over the moon to take this victory, considering Rob led most of the laps really, from start to finish, after taking the lead very quickly on. But here comes Josh around the final 2 corners, clean through the final, and there he goes. Josh is the race winner of race 2 in Sakkari GP. Rob comes in second place, and by the looks of it, he is quite happy, because although he didn't win, his teammate did. That is very, very good points for the constructors' standings, where they're already building a huge lead. Monkey comes in 4th place, a lap down, and Lucas is about to come to take the final podium spot, which I'm sure is what he wanted to take, considering the level of Josh and Rob at the moment. So that's the race done. So Josh wins it, Rob 2nd, Lucas comes in 3rd, Monkey finishes 4th, a lap down, and with DNFs, the newbie classified as 5th place. I'm not sure if Zenvo and Terminator will be classified. However,